Hi, this is Rudy Jones of PalmettoStateBaseball.com. Welcome to the South Carolina College Baseball video recap for Friday, April the 11th. There were 14 games involving state teams on Friday. Let's see what went on. Over at Doug Kingsmore Stadium, they had a rain delay, but Clemson had no problems defeating Stanford 11-1 in a game stopped after 7 innings because of the run rule. Aiden Kanak struck out 6 in 6 innings. The Tigers got a couple of hits from Colin Priest, 2 RBIs. Jacob Jarrell hit his third home run of the week. The Tigers improved to 32-5 overall. They've won 7 straight and 10-3 in the ACC. Stanford fell to 18-13 and 5-11. Down in Panthersville, which is suburban Atlanta, Sebastian Alexander's 4th inning grand slam gave Coastal Carolina the lead, and the Chanticleers held on to beat Georgia State 6-5 in the opener of that Sun Belt Conference Series. Those teams were 2 of 4 tied for first place in the Sun Belt going into Friday night. The Chanticleers improved to 24-9 overall, 9-4 in the Sun Belt. Georgia State fell to 22-14 and 8-5. Ryan Lynch got the save, went 2 1/3 innings, got 4 strikeouts in that game. Elsewhere, Jake Brink struck out 9 and allowed 2 hits on a 7-inning shutout as College of Charleston run-ruled Delaware 12-0. The Cougars improved to 20-12 overall, 6-4 in the CAA. Delaware fell to 17-15 and 5-5 in the Coastal Athletic Association. That complete game shutout was the first for the Cougars since Evan Sisk threw one in 2018, and Brink had back-to-back complete games for the first time since Bailey Ober in 2016. All right, elsewhere, Lou Rice's 9th inning home run lifted Charleston Southern over Mercer 5-4 in a non-conference game down in Macon. The Buccaneers improved to 18-13. Mercer fell to 22-14 in that game. Kyle Lewis got the win, pitched 2 shutout innings, struck out 4 for Charleston Southern. USC Upstate was leading Winthrop by 1 run and then got a 8-run 7th inning and beat the Eagles by a score of 14-3 in a Big South Conference Series opener over in Spartanburg. The Spartans evened their record at 17-17. They're 6-4 in the Big South. Winthrop fell to 18-18 and 5-5. Wiley Waters had 2 hits, drove in 4 runs, and had a couple of RBI for Upstate in that game. Elsewhere, Bear Harrison doubled at homer to drive in 7 runs, and Texas A&M shut out South Carolina on 5 hits by a score of 17-0 in a game that was halted after 7 innings because of the run rule. Texas A&M improved to 19-14 overall, 5-9 in the SEC. South Carolina fell to 20-16 and 2-12, and the Gamecocks again had terrible starting pitching, and they could not get anything going on offense. They only got 5 hits. 2 of them were by freshman Bo Hollins. Down in Birmingham, Stanford allowed 2 unearned runs in the top of the 11th inning, but scored 3 times in the bottom of the 11th to beat the Citadel by a score of 9-8 to open that Southern Conference Series at Joe Lee Griffin Stadium. The Sanford Bulldogs, improved to 19-15 overall, 5-2 in the SoCon. The Citadel fell to 18-16 and 3-4. Tough luck loss for the Bulldogs. Maddox Webb had been brilliant in relief. He went 5 innings of shutout baseball, struck out 8, but they brought in another reliever in the 11th, and the bullpen could not hold it. Travis Elliott did have 4 hits for the Citadel in the game. Again, the Bulldogs improved to 19-15 overall, 5-2 in the SoCon. Citadel fell to 18-16 and 3-4. Don't know if I'd mentioned that or not. In Conference Carolinas, Francis Marion scored 11 first-inning runs, which was interrupted by a rain delay of about an hour or so, and beat UNC Pembroke by a score of 18-11 in a game played at Carolina Bank Field in Florence. It was Pembroke's home game, but they're having some issues with getting their some upgrades to their home stadium done, so they had to play it down in Florence. The Patriots have now won 13 straight games. They're 32-9 overall, 19-6 in Conference Carolinas. UNC Pembroke is 21-18 overall, 9-13 in Conference Carolinas. The Patriots got a home run from Dariel Villian grounds, and several guys had 2 or 3 RBIs, 2 or 3 hits. Big offensive performance by Francis Marion in that game. Also in the Conference Carolinas, Dylan Wannot hit 2 home runs late in the game as Erskine beat Shawan 8-5 in what was supposed to be the first game of a doubleheader. The second game was rained out because the first game was interrupted by rain. I should say they moved the second game to Saturday as part of an 11 o'clock doubleheader because they were afraid they wouldn't be able to get it finished with no lights at Greer Field. The Flying Fleet snapped an 8-game losing streak. They're 17-23 in Conference Carolinas, 6-16 in 17-23 overall, 6-16 in Conference Carolinas. Shawan fell to 5-25 and 3-19. In the Peach Belt Conference, Blaine Newman allowed a run on 2 hits and struck out 8 in 7 innings as USC Aiken beat Augusta by a score of 7-2. That snapped a 4-game losing streak for the Pacers. Aiken is now 17-23 overall, 7-12 in the conference. Their neighboring conference rival Augusta fell to 9-31 and 5-14. Donovan Gleason had 3 hits, including a triple for Aiken in that game. In the South Atlantic Conference, Coker built a 9-run lead and held off Anderson to win 9-5 in a rain-delayed first game of that series in South Atlantic Conference play. The Cobras improved to 24-16 overall, 12-10 in the SAC. Anderson fell to 21-18 and 10-12. Rocco Wojcik was 2 for 4 with a walk, a stolen base, 2 runs scored, and 2 RBIs for the Cobras. And Hunter Poole had a couple of hits and 3 RBI. In other games, Jacques Akins, Carson Fellas, and Justin Murray had 2 hits apiece as Benedict took Game 1 of its Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference Series at Tuskegee by a score of 9-5. The Tigers of Benedict improved to 16-10 overall, 14-10 in the SIAC. The Golden Tigers of Tuskegee fell to 12-26 and 8-17. Fellows had 4 RBI for the Tigers in that game. Down in Columbia, Trey Williams doubled and tripled and drove in 6 runs as Columbia International run-ruled Milligan by a score of 13-3 in 7 innings to open an Appalachian Athletic Conference series. The Rams are now 24-16 overall, 10-12 in the conference. Milligan fell to 25-17 and 13-9. Alice Lloyd scored 3 runs in the 9th inning to win the opener of the series against Bob Jones by a score of 6-5 in a game played at the Red Owens Complex over in Easley. The Bruins, who are now 9-20, had taken a 4-3 lead in the 7th when Conley Burke hit a 3-run homer. Alice Lloyd got the 3 runs in the top of the 9th to go up 6-4. The Bruins got a run in the bottom of the inning and stranded potential tying run on 3rd. Several games were postponed or canceled. The Bruton Parker at Spartanburg Methodist game was canceled. They do play a doubleheader tomorrow starting at 1 o'clock. Postponed games included that Shawan at Erskine game 2 I mentioned. It'll be a part of a doubleheader Saturday at 11. Georgia College at Lander was postponed. That's a big game. Georgia College has a 1-game lead over the Bearcats in the Peach Belt Conference. That'll be made up as part of a doubleheader at 1 o'clock on Saturday. North Greenville and Limestone were going to play a game over in Gaffney, but it got rained out. They'll continue that series as scheduled already with a doubleheader in Tigerville on Saturday. Walford at UNC Greensboro rained out in the opener of that Southern Conference series. They'll make it up as part of a doubleheader at 2 o'clock Saturday. In the ACC, North Carolina beat Wake Forest 11-1 in 7 innings. Notre Dame beat Boston College by a score of 2-0. Then in Game 2, Boston College beat Notre Dame 6-5. Georgia Tech beat California 8-5. NC State beat Louisville 13-11. Miami beat Duke 13-3. The Florida State at Virginia Tech and Pitt at Virginia games were postponed until Saturday, and they'll be parts of doubleheaders. ACC standings now. We'll hit the highlights here. Clemson is still atop the league at 10-3. Georgia Tech's at 10-4, followed by Florida State at 8-4, Louisville at 8-5, NC State at 8-5, and Virginia Tech at 9-6. In SEC scores, Arkansas beat Georgia 13-3. Auburn beat LSU by a score of 8-4. Mississippi State beat Alabama 13-3 in 8 innings. Former Furman pitcher Stone Simmons closed that one out for the Bulldogs. Oklahoma beat Vanderbilt 9-4. Tennessee beat Ole Miss 3-2. The Rebels threatened in the 9th but couldn't catch up. Texas beat Kentucky 6-3. And Missouri and Florida were postponed. They'll play a doubleheader on Saturday. Hitting the top of the SEC standings, Arkansas and Texas are tied for first at 12-1. LSU and Tennessee are tied for third at 10-5. Georgia and Ole Miss are tied for fifth at 8-5. Alabama, Auburn, and Vanderbilt are all at 7-6. You'll have to go down to 15th place to find South Carolina. Like I said, they're at 2-12. In another game that some folks may be interested in from the South Atlantic Conference, Carson Newman beat Lenore-Ryan 10-9 to open that series. Those teams were tied for first place in the conference entering the series. Carson Newman is now 29-11 to 17-5. Lenore-Ryan is 32-7 and 16-6. Let's take a look at Saturday's schedule. By the way, a couple of changes have already been made to the Saturday schedule. Southern Wesleyan's series at King is now going to be moved to a Sunday doubleheader and a Monday single game. Newberry and Emory and Henry are now going to play a 3 o'clock game on Saturday and a noon doubleheader on Sunday. Also, in Region 10 Junior College, the Gaston College at USC Union series has now been pushed back. They'll play a doubleheader at 1 o'clock on Sunday at the Jonesville Ballpark and a single game at 1 o'clock Monday in Jonesville. Now getting to the games that are supposed to be played on Saturday. Shawan is at Erskine for a doubleheader at 11. Alice Lloyd plays Bob Jones at noon at the Red Owens Complex in Easley. It's a doubleheader. Milligan and Columbia International play a doubleheader down at Columbia at noon at Miller Field. Benedict plays a doubleheader at Tuskegee at 1 o'clock. Bruton Parker plays a doubleheader against Spartanburg Methodist at 1 o'clock. Claflin is at USC Beaufort for a doubleheader at 1. That game was also rained out Friday, one game. Coker is at Anderson for a doubleheader at 1. Francis Marion and UNC Pembroke will play a doubleheader at 1 o'clock at Carolina Bank Field in Florence. Georgia College and Lander play that 1 o'clock doubleheader I mentioned earlier in Dolney Stadium. Limestone and North Greenville, 1 o'clock doubleheader at Ray and B. Dillard Field. USC Salcahatchee is at Florence Darlington Tech at 1 o'clock for a doubleheader. Charleston Southern plays Mercer in Game 2 of their series at 2 o'clock. They'll play Game 3 on Sunday back in Charleston. Coastal Carolina plays Game 2 of its series against Georgia State at 2. Delaware is at College of Charleston at 2. USC Sumter is at USC Lancaster for a doubleheader at 2. That's an hour later than it's supposed to be scheduled. Wofford and UNC Greensboro played that 2 o'clock doubleheader in the SoCon play up in Greensboro. Newberry is at Emory and Henry at 3. South Carolina tries to salvage a game in its series at Texas A&M at 3 o'clock. The Citadel and Stanford play Game 2 of their series at 3 o'clock. Augusta and USC Aiken play at 4 o'clock in Aiken. The Game 2 of the Stanford-Clemson series is set for 6 o'clock. There's also some kind of music festival going on in Clemson, so you may want to check out the parking and traffic situations as you head over there if you're going. And the final game on Saturday is Winthrop at USC Upstate at 6 o'clock in Game 2 of that series. That's all I've got from PalmettoStateBaseball.com. As always, you can check out the scores, links to box scores, and sometimes occasional notes at PalmettoStateBaseball.com. You can follow me for updates on the handle of Palmetto Base at X. And right now, this is all I've got. This is Rudy Jones of PalmettoStateBaseball.com saying good night, God bless.